Y'all don't know how happy I am right now with the success we're experiencing, but there are some big questions this team has to answer that may make or break this potential dynasty.
Please, Khaled, don't pair me or compare me, unless the said party is a rare breed. The stories I hear, they tend to mirror me. At this point now, rap is only therapy.
Before we get started, shout out to the sponsors of this video, our good old friends at Hardwood Amino. Once again, if you haven't heard of them, it is basically an app for everything and anything basketball and nothing else, which is great for many of you guys that live that ballers life lifestyle. They have the featured tab featuring some of the best content, and let me tell you, the blogs I've been seeing on the app are so much better than what they were when I first found out about them. Definitely some great content out there. They also got chat rooms for people to have conversations in, which is one of my favorite parts of the app. It allows me to connect with some of you guys on the app as well. Probably most of the conversations are somehow going to relate back to the MJ versus LeBron debate. Somehow, but you can also check out that as well in the app. It's great. Go ahead and download the app. The links will be in the description, and follow me on there at BSouls. So the Boston Celtics, y'all don't even know how proud I am of this team to come through so much adversity and doubt in the regular season, and how much they keep proving us and me wrong. After getting out the first round, I came into that Philly series with the mindset that, alright, we reached our max with this group. We just went to 7 games against a less talented, less coached, less momentum team, and barely beat them. We're undermanned on top of them. Sixers in 4 or 5 probably. But my God, we ended up winning the series in 5 games? Absolutely blew my mind. So then after that, I was like, alright, here we go again. Eastern Conference Finals, freaking amazing. But LeBron against an extremely young team, he is scorching fire right now. The Cavs just swept the #1 seed in the East and made them contemplate their whole future. His help is on fire as well. Cavs in 4 or 5. And what do you know? We are up 2-0 against the Cavs going into Game 3. That to me is ridiculous. I've come to a point where I'm just literally enjoying this whole ride, because we literally got nothing to lose aside from this 2-0 lead. Everything going on right now is not just 1, but 2 cherries on top of my delicious ass Celtics cake. It has everyone thinking, man, if the Celtics beat the 76ers in 5 and are, or maybe were, 2 wins away from making the finals without 2 All-Stars and 2 rotational players in Tatum and Brown's rookie and sophomore year, what is the limit for this team? Are they the next Warriors? Further yet, could they even beat the Warriors as soon as next year? Maybe even this year. And me being the Celtics fan that I am, I had to look deep into this, because while it seems easy on the outside looking in from that perspective, it's more complicated than what it looks. And it all starts with Gordon Hayward. We have raved about the Celtics all year about how good they are without Gordon Hayward. And a big part of that has been the emergence of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum as future stars. Some would even consider them as current stars in this league. If you guys remember the first game of the year, Tatum was not even supposed to be starting. It was supposed to be Marcus Morris, who was suspended the first 2 weeks. I'm really not sure. Maybe the first 2 weeks or first 2 games, I'm not sure, due to some legal issues he had in the offseason. So off the gate, Tatum this year was supposed to really come off the bench. However, because of the emergence of Tatum as a star, Paul Pierce calling him a future superstar, after proving in his rookie year that he can be a go-to scorer and a closer for this team, after finishing 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting, which a big part of it is due to Gordon Hayward being injured and Marcus Morris being out for that first stretch of games. It is going to be hard to bench Tatum next year. Brown, on the other hand, is the same thing. He has emerged to be a future star in this league and was already poised to take Avery Bradley's starting spot coming into this season regardless, and has only improved by a wide margin this year from his rookie year. It is also going to be hard to bench him next year. And then we go back to Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward was brought in to be Kyrie Irving, really originally Isaiah Thomas's sidekick, as a second star on this team. He is considered an all-star in this league, a guy that before he was injured was the leader of a 51-win Jazz team, averaging 22 points on great shooting splits, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and good defense on one of the slowest paced teams in the league. He is also being paid $30 million a year for the next 4 to 5 years to play basketball. It is gonna be extremely tough to bench him. Well, you might be saying, well, be souls and then just start all 3. That's what they were doing the first game of the season before Hayward went down. Look, I agree. Small ball lineups are amazing in today's era. But for a whole 82 game season, I'm just not sure you're going to get away with running Gordon Hayward or Tatum at the 4. Unless Tatum somehow gains a lot of muscle this offseason, which I highly doubt will be enough. Hell, even for a whole series. I know Brad can get away with switching Baines and Morris in and out of the starting lineup depending on the matchups because they're role players. However, going into next season, these players are not just role players. They are stars in the making, or are already stars. I just don't know what the Celtics should do with this situation, unless someone steps up to the plate and takes a sacrifice to have a pretty reduced minutes role and possibly come off the bench. Well, you know, more than they usually would. Now, these guys aren't nothing like Carmelo Anthony, you know. I feel like these guys are willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the team. But it is going to be hard, don't get me wrong. I would expect Hayward to start to come off the bench early in the season because of the injury, but I wouldn't be expecting that to be a long-term solution. Hey, maybe I'm wrong, and running this lineup of Kyrie, Brown, Tatum, Hayward, and Horford may work. I mean, Brad Stevens is a fucking genius. But this is definitely a question that this team has to answer. How they will handle the dynamic between Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Gordon Hayward moving forward. And another question they have to answer is the question about their bench pieces. Specifically Marcus Smart and Terry Rozier. Hell, you can even throw Marcus Morris in there, showing how great of a defender he is in this series. Because Marcus Smart, to me, is an integral part of this team. I don't give a damn what the stats say. He is one of the leaders of this team. He makes the plays that no one in the league would even dare to do. He brings that dog in this team and plays terrific defense. Marcus Smart is a restricted free agent this summer, and I've heard the Celtics owner is willing to go over the luxury tax. But the question is, to what extent? Marcus Smart is a guy that will probably command a $60 to $7 million contract. As of right now, they are already $8 million over the salary cap as it is. Is Wyc Grousbeck willing to pay $14 to $18 million over? What about Terry Rozier, who was a free agent the year after? Yes, sure, you can find a decent amount of backup point guards out there. Maybe you can even replace him with Shane Larkin. But Rozier has shown Reggie Jackson-esque potential, while Kyrie has been out, and he's gonna demand a decent amount of cash as well. Imagine having a starter level point guard as a backup to one of the best point guards in the league. That is gonna be crazy. Is Grousbeck willing to dish out another hefty contract to keep him on the team? And speaking of Kyrie, that man is also gonna be a free agent after next summer, and is gonna be expecting max level dollars as well, upwards to $25 to $30 million a year. And then you have Jaylen Brown coming up the year after, and then Tatum the year after that as restricted free agents. Although Hayward and Horford are able to come off the books in 2020 and 2021, they are player options, so they can opt in. Once again, Wyc has said that he is willing to go over the luxury tax. And I do agree that he is not as cheap as the OKC ownership was when dealing with Harden's situation, which really changed the future of the Thunder forever. But Dan, we're talking about a lot of cash here that he has to deal out because of the luxury tax. This is another question this team has to answer, which brings me to Kawhi Leonard and stars like him that may be available. Look, I completely agree. In a perfect world, keep everyone intact. This group is special. This is an abnormal amount of talent and potential on one team. However, like I said, the salary cap does exist, and egos and expectations do exist as well. Maybe a route the Celtics could take in order to still keep a championship caliber level of talent while fixing some of their potential salary cap problems and potential minute problems, maybe to trade one or two of their core pieces or maybe more to get someone like Kawhi Leonard and oversell. Maybe the Celtics have to consider trading away a package like Gordon Hayward and Jaylen Brown for him, which seems asinine and insane that just came out of my mouth. And I completely understand how you guys feel about me saying that. But again, this gives you a proper lineup that you can run where you're not too small, everyone gets their fair share of minutes, the salary cap situation is much more bearable, and you're still one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win the championship. Hell, I've even heard reports saying that the Celtics have already locked up a pre-draft workout with Michael Porter Jr. and are trying to get into position to draft him, which kind of hints at this mentality. Look, all I know is this. I've seen a terrible outcome of a situation like this in OKC. They had a war chest similar to the Celtics in Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Reggie Jackson, Serge Ibaka, and Jeff Green, and they fully mishandled the situation. There were too many pieces to handle, different players had different expectations for themselves, and what came of it 6 years later was a franchise who lost 2 MVPs and only went to the finals once, when they had the requisite pieces to run the league for a whole decade. I just don't want this to happen to this team.
He's done everything individually. He's already an individual great player. So the only thing is he has 3 rings to MJ's 6. And listen, his finals record might not ever be better than MJ's. But if you're telling me 20 years down the line,